So I'm gonna do, hopefully I'm speaking loud enough. I'm trying to be quiet because I've put Jasper to bed. But yeah, there's gonna be still a fair bit of noise in the background, unfortunately. So hopefully it's not too distracting. All right, so we're on a new game now. This is game 4 from prep test, the May 2020 prep test. Okay, so I'm just going to go over question 22 and 23, and I am not on the May 2021. Don't know why I said that. I was working on that earlier today. This is prep test 75, game 4. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm not quite in tip-top shape right now, obviously. All right, so in any case, let's just get into the questions. Oh boy. All right, so each issue of a business newsletter has 5 slots, numbered 1 through 5. All right, so we've got 5 slots per issue. We'll just start there, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the policy of the newsletter requires that there are at least 3 features per issue. Okay, with each feature completely occupying 1 or more of the slots. So, okay, so a feature equals minimum 1 slot. Okay, each feature can be one of 4 types. Okay, then we have types of feature: finance, industry, marketing, technology. Those are our types of features. Any slot not containing a feature contains a graphic. Okay, so if a slot doesn't have feature, so those are the types of feature. If no feature, then graphic. Okay. Anything else that I need to get from the blurb? I don't think so. Okay. The newsletter's policy further requires that each issue be structured as follows. Any feature occupying more than 1 slot must occupy consecutively numbered slots. Okay, so if a feature occupies more than 1, they have to be consecutive. So we could have a feature occupying multiple slots, and that could be 2 slots in a row, 1 and 2, but not 1 and then 3 as well for the same feature. So I'm just going to say consecutive slots for that rule. If an issue has any finance or technology, so if F or T, then a finance or technology feature, sorry about that. Okay, get back in here. Okay, then what's the consequence of that? Okay, so then we have to have a finance or technology in slot 1. So F is in 1 or T is in 1. So we could have finance and then in like slot 5 and then technology in slot 1, and that would satisfy the rule. That's fine. However, if we don't have F in 1 and we don't have T in 1, then no F and no T. That's our contrapositive. Right, last rule, an issue can have at most 1 industry feature. So max 1 industry feature per issue. Now, that industry feature could occupy more than one slot and still be a single feature, right? So where does it say that? Each feature completely occupying one or more slots. So a single feature could occupy more than one slot. So I would think of the slots as pages, okay? And then the features are stories, right? So stories of different types. So I would think of it like, okay, we've got a magazine right here. It's news, newsletter, but maybe I could think of it as a magazine. It's got 5 pages. And when we have a story, we want it to be on consecutive pages. We're not going to actually add like a graphic or another story in between or anything like that. So when we start a story, we're going to finish it before we go on to the next thing. So that's sort of the way that I would bring it into the real world for myself, is just thinking about it like that. I find kind of helpful. I am going to see maybe if I just bring the size down there, that might help a little bit, just make it a little bit more readable. Okay, so question 22. If in a particular issue of the newsletter, slot 1 is occupied by the only industry feature in that issue. So if slot 1 is industry, that means it's not finance and it's not technology. So that's going to trigger the contrapositive for the second rule. Okay. So that noise that you're hearing right now, that is Jasper. He's in, he made a nest in my desk. So he's chewing on the wood, which thankfully is untreated pine, which is like one of the only things that I know for sure is safe for him to chew on. But anyways, yeah. Okay, so that's what he's up to right now. Okay. So if there's industry in slot 1, and of course that's the only industry feature in the issue, what do we know is going to happen, and what can we deduce is possible? So I'm going to go purple. I feel like it. All right. So slot 1 is industry. We have I, and it's the only industry feature, but does that mean that it's the only slot occupied by an industry feature? No. So we could still have industry occupying slot 2 or up to slot 3, right? So if we have one industry feature that occupies slots 1 to 3, then we could have the second feature and the third feature just occupy a single slot each. So that is a possibility. It's also possible that the industry feature occupies a single slot and 2 through 5 are not industry at all. So in terms of kind of the extremes that we could have of how much industry, how many slots are occupied by this industry feature, that would be the range, right? It could be anywhere from just the first one to the first 3. All right. But yeah, this also is going to trigger the contrapositive for rule 2, which means that we don't have any finance or technology in the entire issue. Okay. So we would have to have 2 marketing features because we've got the maximum of industry. We would just have one industry feature. It's the only one in that issue is also what they say, which is redundant, right? We already know that from the rules that if there's an industry feature, it has to be the only one. So we've got our industry feature and then we have marketing. So at the extremes, right, we could have industry occupy the first one, and then marketing, the first marketing right away occupies slot 2, and then we could have graphics for 3 and 4, and then marketing occupying slot 5. That would be a possibility. Let's throw another possibility in there. We could have industry in slot 1, and then industry continued for the first 3, and then marketing 1 and marketing 2. Okay, that's possible. What else could we have? We could have industry, and then we could have graphic, marketing. We could have industry, and then graphic, then marketing, graphic, then marketing, or marketing, graphic, right? So yeah, there are a lot of options here, but basically we have to have 2 marketing features and we have to fit them somewhere between 2 to 5. So how do we state that requirement? So A, there's an industry feature that occupies slots 1 and 2 and only those 2 slots. No, we have other options, right? We've seen the other options here. Same with B, we know the industry feature could occupy slot 1 and 2, or slot 1, 2, and 3. Those are all possible. So none of those things is actually required because they could be true or they could be false. So A and B can both be eliminated. There's a marketing feature that occupies slot 2 or slot 3 or both. Not necessarily. We could actually have the marketing features just in slots 4 and 5. And we actually have 2 examples of that, right? One where the industry feature occupies the first 3 slots, and another one where we actually throw a graphic in there. Okay, so we can eliminate C. A marketing feature that occupies 1 or more of slots 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I mean, we definitely are going to have a marketing feature there, right? We could have a marketing feature that occupies all 3 of those slots, and then we have a second one that occupies slot 5, and slot 1, of course, is occupied by the industry feature. But no matter what we do, we can't use up slots 2, 3, and 4 for something other than a marketing feature and still get 2 marketing features and the industry feature into this issue. So D would be the correct answer. E isn't correct because we could have a marketing feature in slot 2 and a marketing feature in slot 4 and have graphics in 3 and 5. And we could get away with that. So D is the correct answer. All right. More chewing and scratching in my desk. Of course, I'm sitting at my desk, so it's very loud. I'm just going to pause and find a better spot. Yeah, I hear you, chicken. Okay. All right, so I'm back. I just moved to the kitchen. So the ambient noise in here will be hopefully not as loud, a little bit more constant. Okay, so question 23. Any of the following is allowed for an issue of the newsletter except. All right, so here I am going to show how you could like test these things. So kind of prove that they're possible because 4 of them are possible. So that would be kind of how I would go about it. I might not in the real thing need to write it all out. I might be able to kind of figure it out in my head based on what I know about the boundaries of the game already. But yeah, but that's one way that you could attack this question type, right? Is just to eliminate the things that are possible and to discover what's possible by trying it, right? Trying to make it work. So for A, there's exactly 1 finance feature and no industry or marketing feature, right? Let's see if we can make that work. Well, 1 finance feature, and then we could have a technology feature that occupies 2 slots and another technology feature that occupies 2 slots. No problem with that. If we have finance or technology, we have to have finance or technology in slot 1, but that's not going to be a problem. Okay. There's exactly 1 industry feature and no finance or marketing. Okay, so we have industry, and then we would have to have technology as well. So because we have technology, either finance or technology has to be in slot 1. No finance in this example, so technology would be in slot 1. Then we could have industry occupying 3, and we could have technology again. No problem with that. Okay, so those are possible combos. C, there's exactly one industry feature and no marketing or technology. So essentially the same thing. We have finance, and industry. That's a possibility. And again, I'm just coming up with like one possibility that would fit these criteria rather than like the only possibility that would fit these criteria. But I'm just coming up with something that follows the rules and also includes these components. Answer choice D, there's exactly one marketing feature and no finance or technology feature. So we have marketing and we have just one. And then we don't have finance and we don't have technology, which means we would have to have industry as well. But the problem with that is we have a maximum of one industry per issue. So if we only have one marketing and one industry, how are we going to reach the minimum of 3 features per issue, right? Or I suppose it's not even it is a minimum. There's the newsletter policy requires that there are at least 3 features per issue. So if we only have 2 types and we only have 1 feature per type, we're really going to run into a problem. Okay, so D is the correct answer here. That's not possible. Let's show how E is possible. So E, there's exactly 1 marketing feature and no industry or technology. So we'll have to fill in the rest with finance, but we can have finance 1 and finance 2, and we just have to arrange them so that finance occupies slot 1 in order to fulfill the requirements of rule 2. Okay, yeah, so hopefully that clears up the issue with question 23 and shows why D is not allowed. Yeah, so it's that thing of exactly 1 marketing feature and then a maximum of 1 industry feature for that one. Okay, great.